Augusta. You're watching News 12 live at 5.
An elementary school nurse in charge of handling students' medications is now charged with stealing students' Adderall medication. Arrest warrants say 44-year-old Ashley Stallcup stole more than 20 capsules between February 1st and March 18th. Now, Stallcup is no longer employed by the Columbia County School District, but that trust between parents and the school is still broken. Nick Veland joins us now live at 5 in our newsroom. And Nick, walk us through the reactions parents have shared with you today.
Yeah, well, those reactions have been the same. Shocked. We spoke to one parent who wants to remain anonymous, and they say it's a violation of trust. What we know so far is the former nurse at Brookwood Elementary School has been arrested and admitted to stealing students' medication stored in the school clinic. The arrest warrant says she stole 22 Adderall pills for, quote, the purpose of personal ingestion from February 1st to March 18th. We spoke with one parent who says that they've had good experiences with other nurses in the district, but never had a connection with Stallcup.
I have other children in this county, and they went to a completely different school. And that nurse, I absolutely loved them. And this one I didn't have that connection with.
And parents at the school with medication have been asked to go to Brookwood and inspect their kids' medication and, if necessary, provide a replacement. Coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, I'll have more with the parent and why they feel like they're living in a nightmare.
A troubling story there for a lot of parents in that school district. Thanks, Nick, for staying on top of this for us. Switching gears to weather now as we take a look.
Have an update on that rain moving in Friday for you in just a bit.
Thanks, Riley. And a quick heads up for drivers in North Augusta. There was a 3-car crash at the intersection of East Martintown Road and East Buena Vista Avenue. Police are already on scene and suggest avoiding that area until it can be cleared. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more with that. New developments today in the Fulton County case against former President Donald Trump. A judge overseeing the case making another important ruling. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee ruled that he will allow an appeal of his own decision. Last week, he ruled that DA Fani Willis can remain on the election interference case against the former president and his allies if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade got off the case, and shortly after, Wade resigned. Since then, the president's lead Georgia attorney filed a motion to appeal the decision to allow Fani Willis to stay. Judge McAfee granted that request. Now the case heads to the Georgia Court of Appeals, and they still need to agree to hear that matter. An Athens bookstore is suing a sheriff's office and jail commander over the First Amendment, which protects this freedom of speech. Now, this all stems from a situation last year where a customer asked avid bookshops to send books to an inmate in the Gwinnett County Jail. The shipment was declined and sent back to the store. When the bookstore called to ask why, the lawsuit claims a deputy said that contraband could be easily smuggled into the jail from a local retailer. The bookstore says the policy is unfair and feels like government censorship.
Able to send books to someone who's incarcerated is an act of free speech, is an act of expression, and the government should not be able to inhibit that kind of expression.
The lawsuit challenges the legality of the jail's mail policy, which says magazines and books will be accepted as long as they are mailed directly from a publisher or authorized retailer. South Carolina lawmakers are calling for an audit into SLED's rape kit tracking system. The program's rollout was filled with setbacks and launched in December, more than a year after its promised start date. The statewide program gives victims a way to track their sexual assault evidence kits. Without this system, victims don't know when or if their forensic evidence is being tested. Several state senators are now calling for an audit into SLED's sexual assault kit tracking activity over the last 4 years and determine if it's fulfilling its legal obligations. Right now, the South Carolina Supreme Court is reviewing whether a new program that would give certain families taxpayer dollars to send their kids to private schools is constitutional. But before the court has delivered a ruling on if this program can even exist, some leaders at the State House already have plans to significantly expand it. Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details.
Right now, the House is debating a bill to expand the Education Scholarship Trust Fund program, which you may also know as the School Voucher Program. It was enacted with a law passed last year, but will be actually implemented for the first time next school year. Through this program, students can receive scholarships worth $6,000 that can be spent on private and public school tuition and other approved costs. Under its current guidelines, eligibility at full implementation would be capped at 400% of the federal poverty line, and up to 15,000 students could receive scholarships. This proposal from House Republicans and the state superintendent of education would remove those eligibility and participation caps to allow any student to apply and allow the legislature to expand or limit the number of scholarships as it sees fit. It would also remove that $6,000 scholarship cap so that the amount awarded would fluctuate based on how much public schools receive annually per student from the state.
I think it's time that the state recognize that choice for parents is critical to success in the education of our children in this state. And I think we all understand that education should not be limited to your zip code or to your background.
When they voted last year to establish this program, Republican supporters made the argument that this is needed to help lower income students who have no other educational options besides underperforming schools where they are assigned. Democrats, who are uniformly opposed to this program and its expansion, say this proposal disregards those arguments by making any student eligible.
The ink is not yet dry off of the bill that was passed last year. And yet we're throwing that in the trash can and completely going a different direction.
If passed, this expansion would require the Senate's approval as well to enact. And the Senate Republican leader isn't ready to take up this proposal just yet.
I think before you look at expanding it, you need to make sure that this one's going to work. And you also need to see, how does the public respond to this new program?
This debate is still going on at the State House. Again, we're still waiting on a ruling from the state Supreme Court on whether this program is constitutional or if it violates a prohibition on public dollars directly benefiting private and religious schools, as a lawsuit challenging the program claims it does. Major changes are on the way for Richmond County parents and students. A vote last night confirmed that part of the school district's master plan will move forward. A. Bryan Elementary and Spirit Creek Middle will close their doors for good after this school year. Tutt and Langford Middle Schools are combining. Now Richmond Hill and Bel Air K-8 schools are splitting up and will send students to Bel Air Middle and Richmond Hill Elementary. Board members also voted for the 2025 to 26 school year calendar, which will keep the 10-week summer vacation. The other option was a year-round schedule. Just ahead at 5:30, our Sydney Hood has the latest on how parents are responding. A Georgia couple passed out with their children nowhere to be found. Just ahead, the state of confusion that sent the parents to jail. Riley?
And we are looking to stay nice and dry again tomorrow, but rain does look likely Friday and Saturday. Have a look at that full forecast coming up.
And call my dad.
Breaking news live at 5. The two on your screen are wanted in Augusta in connection to an armed robbery. Richmond County deputies say 17-year-olds Kayvon Patterson and Tytron Hope are considered armed and dangerous. They say this robbery happened on Georgetown Drive on March 7th. If you know where these two could be, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Riley?
We'll take a live look down.
All right, thanks, Riley. A family vacation ruined for a Georgia family. Two young children were found wandering Daytona Beach while their parents were passed out. Daryl Matthews has the story of the bizarre arrest.
My kids are going to the Family Resource Center, so they're going to take care of them. They'll feed them, they'll clothe them.
This was the moment a Georgia couple was arrested after Volusia County deputies found them passed out on a beach, surrounded by open cans of alcohol. Their children nowhere in sight.
Time to wake up, guys. Hey! The sheriff's office! Wake up!
According to the sheriff's office, someone called them Saturday afternoon after watching the couple drink too much, leaving the two little kids to wander off along the popular beach.
You have alcohol on the beach.
I only had like 2 beers.
The Daytona Beach Shores City Ordinance states it's unlawful for anyone to drink any alcoholic beverage on the beach. Those found in violation are subject to a fine of up to $500 or jail up to 60 days, or both. This body-worn camera shows the moment a disheveled Timothy Steffens realized both children, ages 5 and 7, were nowhere in sight. The children were not even on the beach at that time. Deputies found them at a nearby hotel in a swimming pool, unsupervised. Timothy Steffens and Alyssa Langley were handcuffed before being taken to the county jail, but not before deputies say Steffens tried to make a run for it, knocking himself unconscious on the hard-packed sand.
Now, the children were released into the custody of their grandparents who had to make that drive from Georgia down to Florida. Both parents were released from jail the next day. Well, experts say there's an increase in scams targeting victims through delivery text scams. Just ahead, we'll break down how you can avoid falling victim.
First Alert Automotive Group.
Urgent notice from Waynesboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
The 2023 final sell-down. New Challengers as low as $27,700.
If you can't come to us, we'll drive it to you.
Take the short drive on Highway 25. Good to go Waynesboro.com.
Dinosaur Ken. Don't wait. Drastic discounts right now.
It's the 2023 final sell-down at Waynesboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 2023 Dodge Hornet GT Plus from $34,600. Good to go Waynesboro.com.
Experts say there's been an increase in delivery text scams being sent to unsuspecting consumers. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman spoke with a federal agency that scammers often impersonate, as well as an expert on how you can avoid getting your personal information stolen.
You look down at your phone and see this. A text message claiming to be from the post office, saying your package is at a warehouse but can't be delivered. It'll then ask you to confirm your address at the link below within 12 hours. Only it's not the post office. It's an imposter trying to get your personal information.
How frustrating is it, as somebody that works for USPS, as an inspector, to hear that people are pretending to do what you all do every day?
It's constant. We constantly hear about this issue, and that's why we've taken significant steps to sit down with the media, let the public know that those text messages are smishing. They're not from the Postal Service. So they're looking for your feedback or you to click on that link that's contained in the text message, and they're looking for your personal identifying information to commit identity theft, to infect your device or computer with malware, or they might also take you to a link for a payment of some sort, claiming for a redelivery fee. Know that the Postal Service does not charge for a redelivery fee.
The U.S. Postal Service has put out alerts about this scam commonly called smishing. Martel says they're warning customers not to click on the link.
The Postal Service will not send you a text message from a strange email address. It will typically come from a 5-digit phone number. The Postal Service will not send you a link in a text message, and the Postal Service will not send you an unsolicited text message. You have to sign up for those alerts.
It's not just the federal government these fraudsters are pretending to be.
Really what scammers are doing to try to steal from you via text is impersonate very well-known shipping companies.
Julia Porter, vice president of RoboKiller, a spam call and text blocker app, says since 2017, the delivery scam text has been a popular choice for scammers. According to RoboKiller, Americans received 78 billion robotexts in the first half of 2023 alone. Their findings also found that Americans received 1.1 billion robotexts in December related to delivery scams, which Porter says shows more proof that scammers believe text messages are one of the most effective ways to target consumers, especially when the holidays roll around.
The scam of choice for spammers usually is the one that is most impactful to consumers. And so, just encouraging everyone out there to be on the lookout for those.
So what can you do? Porter says ignore the messages altogether and try to avoid giving your information, particularly your phone number. Also, consider downloading a text blocking app if you're really concerned about the alerts coming to your phone. Simple steps you can take to avoid getting tricked via text. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
If you do receive a text related to smishing, the USPS says email them and report it to them. Without clicking on the web link, copy the body of that suspicious text message and paste it into a new email. Be sure to provide your name in that email and also attach a screenshot of the text message that shows the phone number of the sender and the date that it was sent to you. Riley.
Well, beautiful warm weather will stick around tomorrow, but we are keeping those rain chances high heading into our Friday and most likely Saturday, too. Having a look at that 7-day forecast coming up.
Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event.
RideNavy.com. Click, click.
Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
Well, major shakeups are on the way for Richmond County. Schools are closing or combining, and there's a chance your student could be zoned for an entirely new school coming this fall. This all comes after last night's vote by the Board of Education to move forward with the first part of their master plan. Sydney Hood is live for us at Bel Air K-8. And Sydney, what has been the reaction today, and break down what this means for parents and students moving forward?
Well, it's only the second day of spring, but there's another season full of change ahead for students inside Bel Air K-8. You see, some of them will stay here and attend Bel Air Elementary School, but then some of them are going to move miles down the road to attend a newly built Bel Air Middle School, and these students are far from the only ones impacted here. Richmond Hill K-8 is splitting up. A. Bryan Mary Elementary and Spirit Creek Middle are closing, and Tutt and Langford Middle are combining. So there's a lot of changes going on here, and some parents still have a lot of questions.
And I'm kind of concerned too about the children who will be affected by this. They'll have to change schools and, make new friends and possibly have to leave friends behind at the last minute. And I know that will affect some of these kids.
Now, the school system says that this plan is to provide more resources for the kids, but as we'll show you all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, some parents still are left with questions they want answers to.
Yeah, a lot of movement coming from parents in Richmond County. We've heard that argument on both sides of this decision from parents. So, of course, we'll keep you updated. Sydney, thanks for staying on top of this for the last 2 weeks for us. Switching gears to weather now as we take a live look outside. As the excitement continues to build for the 13th Sage Valley Junior Invitational, our sports director, Dan Booth, joins us live from right off the par 3 course. Dan, what's the feeling out there on the course today?
Will, you can just tell that all of these golfers out here in this incredibly diverse field are doing everything they can to capitalize on this year's event, knowing all the opportunities that are in front of them. And when speaking with the players, you can tell there's that upbeat vibe and just that atmosphere that they're ready to roll ahead of these first tee times getting rolling tomorrow morning. Now, when it comes to this diverse field of 60 golfers from all around the world, they hit the course on Wednesday for their final practice rounds, and joining them on the course is a familiar face to many around these parts. Former champion Caleb Surratt, the North Carolina native, won the Boys Junior Invitational here at Sage Valley back in 2022, and since then he played briefly at the University of Tennessee before becoming the youngest player to sign with and play for the Live Golf Tour. Surratt has been telling these players all day long about the significance of this event and the importance of what's in front of them this week.
It's something that's easy to take for granted. This is seriously the glory days of life, being a junior golfer out here having fun with your friends, and it's not how it is when you get older. So I wish I would have had maybe even more fun than I did, but it's been awesome, and anytime I'm back here, it's so special. So I'm very thankful for the foundation for having me out the past couple days.
When speaking with the newly turned pro, he told me his wow moment for getting the chance to play on the Live Golf Tour was being around reigning Masters champion Jon Rahm, who he's trying to learn a lot from. And as we know, Rahm made the move over to Live in the recent past.
And you just heard there, it's so special for a lot of these players to be out there and competing. Great weather to do it. They've enjoyed that almost all week now. So it's one of the best times of the year for golf, certainly, Dan. Thanks for keeping us updated with that. Well, we're following a developing story out of Columbia County where a former elementary school nurse is now charged with stealing a student's medication. In the last hour, our Nick Velan broke down the charges that former Brookwood Elementary nurse Ashley Stallcup is facing. She's accused of stealing 22 Adderall pills prescribed for a student and taking them for herself, according to arrest documents. This happened between February and Monday of this week. We're still working to uncover whether any other students' medications were tampered with. We're also digging into when the medication could have been stolen and what tipped off authorities to what's going on right now. In the meantime, Brookwood Elementary is not handing out medication to students until parents stop by and examine their students' medicine to make sure everything is correct there. A beloved local football coach, Timothy McLean, has passed away. McLean was a coach at Westside High School, but the impact of his loss is even greater because he also coached at Laney, Butler, Glen Hills, and Jefferson County High School, as well as the Academy of Richmond County. This was his first year at Westside. Parents and students were informed of his death in a letter from the principal. The letter also says grief counselors will be available for students. Harsher penalties for anyone selling drugs laced with fentanyl that results in death. A bill heading to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's desk is named for a South Georgia man who thought he was taking an anxiety drug. Our State House reporter Abby Kasoris shares his parents' tough journey for justice.
In a sea of lawmakers,
in honor of Austin and his mother and father, I really appreciate you all.
Gus and Beth Walters sit waiting anxiously.
We've got to stand up and make a difference.
For 2 years, they've been working with their state senator, Russ Goodman, on Austin's law, named after their son.
He loved the outdoors. He loved to cook. He was just an all-American guy.
Austin suffered from depression and anxiety. He thought he was taking a Percocet, but the pill was laced with fentanyl.
You're playing Russian roulette if you take something that's not prescribed to you.
They went through Austin's phone, found the name of the person who sold him the pill, the text messages and the Venmo transaction, and brought it to police.
They looked at us and said, this really won't be anything more than a misdemeanor, and it's not anything that we're going to pursue. And I thought to myself, my goodness gracious, I just buried my child, and this is a misdemeanor?
This bill makes it a felony, creating a new offense called aggravated involuntary manslaughter for law enforcement and prosecutors investigating the thousands of overdose deaths each year. The majority, fentanyl. Moved to tears, lawmakers sharing their own stories of family members and friends.
An epidemic that we've got to get a hold of.
All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Whether Democrat or Republican, all yes votes.
Thinking I'm proud of you, Mom. You did it. Proud of you, Dad. You did it. He is so happy right now because he loved life too much to die.
We're going to help other people continue to live because of what happened to him. Flip that around.
The bill now heads to the governor's desk for his signature. The Walters say that their family will be here every year, pushing for more accountability for those selling fentanyl. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
Thanks, Abby. The USS Yorktown sits proudly at Patriots Point in Mount Pleasant, but under the water's surface, not everything is as it seems. Still ahead, why environmentalists are pushing for change to the Fighting Lady. Riley?
Well, nice weather will stick around tomorrow, but rain is likely Friday and Saturday. Have a look at that full forecast next.
Time and temp
with this system. Now, once we get past the weekend, temperatures not really warming up too quickly next week. We'll stay below average for highs and lows next Monday, and then by next Wednesday, we'll bring back another rainmaker.
All right, thanks, Riley. The USS Yorktown is a beautiful piece of World War II history that now acts as a museum in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, but it's also causing dangerous pollutants to enter the waterways. Governor McMaster ordered this to be addressed back in 2022, and as Caitlin Ashball shows us, we're getting a new look at how that work is progressing.
Officials say preserving the Fighting Lady is a long time coming, but if you actually want to see the work that's being done, you have to go below deck.
That's where the gears start turning.
This is transformative for us. I mean, this is incredible that we're getting this done. This is from the tank that has not been remediated yet. And then this is from a clean tank. This is the ballasted water from a clean tank.
From the jar, clean and dirty looks obvious to the eye, but it wasn't always that easy to tell. The dark goo you see holds what used to fuel the USS Yorktown 80 years ago, a concoction of toxic oil, asbestos, and lead paint.
what staff is now trying to remove.
Seeing that oil just helps to visualize that and really put some understanding to the threats.
There's a lot of this stuff that remains on the Yorktown. Take a good look. And take a good look. What we do not want to know the Yorktown for is dirty, harmful cleanup.
The work started back in 2022 after Governor McMaster issued an executive order for immediate action. Heavy corrosion to the warship's hull spread since its arrival to the Charleston harbor, raising concerns for a potential leak. The project has an estimated $30 million budget, funded by ARPA, to remove 1.25 million gallons of waste.
This should have been done a long time ago. This ship's been here since 1975. But I promise you this, we don't have another minute to waste.
The group is waiting on final approval for phase 2 of the project, which has 3 goals: remediate, mitigate, and isolate.
Keeping this ship and this place, Patriots Point, booming for the rest of the state is our job, our duty, and we will get it done.
Again, phase 1 of this project was finished in December. It uncovered more than 400 tanks holding thousands of gallons of toxins, which means work on the Fighting Lady is far from finished.
Do you have a tax refund check in the mail? I bet you can't wait for it to be delivered. Neither can the bad guys. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up how thieves are snatching these checks right out of the mailboxes and what you can do to prevent it.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
See thousands of... Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa extravaganza at the Western Carolina State Fairgrounds in Aiken this weekend. Enjoy year-round fitness and exercise fairgrounds.
Tax refunds are rolling in, and about 9 million Americans still choose to receive their refunds by mail. That's roughly $30 million going into mailboxes over the coming weeks. As our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker explains, thieves are also waiting for your checks to arrive.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Yeah, no one loves tax season except maybe the bad guys. It's a lucrative crime. The average refund check is around $3,000, and the thief could steal that check right out of the mailbox before the victim even knows it's there. Police tell me bad guys will follow mail delivery trucks, and then seconds after the drop-off, the crooks pull up, grab what's in the mailbox, and take off. They'll change the name on the check and cash it. And victims don't report it right away because they never knew it was delivered. If you're getting a refund from the IRS, keep an eye on its website for when it will be delivered. IRS.gov/refunds will give you a heads up when you can expect it. You'll just enter your social security number and filing status along with the exact amount of the refund. You can also download the IRS app, IRS2Go, for updates. If you haven't already done it, sign up for the Postal Service's Informed Delivery. Every morning, you'll get an email about what mail is going to be delivered that day. Grayscale photos or scans of every piece of mail that's out for delivery to your mailbox. And if a piece doesn't make it to your mailbox, you can report it missing. It's also a quick way to place a hold on deliveries if you're going to be out of town. The FBI urges people to enroll their address because if they don't, the bad guys can register your home and get notifications of what's coming to your mailbox. And it isn't just tax refund checks, but the FBI and the Postal Service warn that these thieves are following postal delivery trucks, stealing mail, hoping to get just enough information to steal someone's identity. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
If you're expecting a refund check in the mail and you do not receive it, report the missing mail to the Postal Service, the IRS, and the police department. Georgia lawmakers might be close to a deal that could limit your property taxes from going up. The Senate Finance Committee has approved an amendment that would limit increases in a home's value to 3% a year for property tax purposes. Voters would still have to approve the plan in a November referendum. If approved, the limit would last as long as owners maintain a homestead exemption. Atlanta could be the home of a future professional hockey team. Hockey fans are hoping a new development called The Gathering at South Forsyth could become the home of Atlanta's next professional hockey team if developers can convince county commissioners and the National Hockey League. Commissioners are set to vote on zoning next week. The NHL has been a bit icy on plans for any new team, saying Atlanta is on the radar if they decide to expand, but there's no word on whether that'll happen. Augusta is also hoping to bring a hockey team to the city, but that would be a minor league team, not professional. Riley?
Well, for tomorrow, we have high temps above average, most likely mid-70s, but then by Friday, we are seeing another dip, and that rain shows up. We'll have a look at that coming up.
I'm Chip Lewis with 64 Insurance Group. Surprisingly, there is no Medicare orientation. Let us guide you through the entire process. For a commitment-free consultation, please call the number on your screen. Don't wait till you're 65 to call. Are-you64.com.
4.9% up to 72 months. It's all at JeepCheap.com. Thompson, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat makes buying easy.
Hey, Brett, I think we need a jingle.
What'd you have in mind?
I don't know yet.
Well, if you're taking something, come knock on my door.
Come and knock on my door.
If you're 64.
A rare and endangered pygmy hippo has been born in Athens' Attica Zoological Park for the first time in 10 years. Look how small it is. A lack of male pygmy hippos has made breeding very difficult, so caretakers are thrilled to announce that this one is a boy. The calf's name has not been decided yet. He's just 15 pounds right now, but adults weigh anywhere from 400 to 600 pounds. Pygmy hippos are also native to swamps and rainforests in Western Africa. There are only an estimated 2,500 left in the wild. I have never seen one of those before.
I've never seen a pygmy one. That is really cool looking, and he's a little tight, but going to be a big one like that one, so I don't know why they say pygmy. That still looks like a pretty big animal to me, but
he's eating.
He is, and very cool, rare animal. I've never seen that before, so glad they're protecting him. We do have some hazy skies out there. This is a live look for our Beach Island camera, and you can see it's tough to see the ground out there, so we do have some smoke around the region from some controlled burns. Likely going to see more of those tomorrow. We do have a good setup for it, but we also have a good setup for some high school baseball tomorrow evening at SRP Park. Harlem's going to be taking on North Augusta. Tickets are only $10. JV game's going to start at 5. We'll be in the mid-70s then, and then as we start the varsity game, we'll most likely be dipping into the 60s after that. So really couldn't ask for better baseball weather there on the river for tomorrow. We are going to see clear skies this evening into tomorrow morning. Temps will be in the 40s early Thursday, and then we'll see another warm afternoon in the 70s. Generally sunny skies, but cloud cover does start to increase Thursday night, and that will give way to rain by around mid-morning through into around lunchtime on Friday. I would say by around 12, 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, rain is pretty widespread across the area and could be heavy at times. Not expecting a severe weather threat, but there will be some downpours, so continuing a low flood risk heading into Friday and Saturday. But if you are going to be heading out tomorrow, no need to worry about the weather. We got sunshine in store for our Thursday. Should be really nice, and that wind direction is going to change out of the east, and that's going to keep our temperatures cool Friday into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The Emmy-nominated Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
You know that feeling where you're laughing and crying at the same time?
Weeknights on CBS.
The 2020